A quick channel announcement. One of my goals for 2026 was to start an exclusive Michael Jordan channel on YouTube. If you are interested in checking it out, the channel name is Collecting the Goat 23. I started building the channel right at the start of the new year, but unfortunately got busy with life and had to take a few months off, but we'll be posting new videos here in the next few weeks. If you click on the home tab on my channel here, you can check out other projects I have going on in 2026, and I appreciate anyone that stops by to show some support and subscribes to the channels. Hey, what's up guys? Steve here, and thanks again to everyone for all the continued support on the channel. And we'll kick today's list off at number 50 with this 1992 Pacific Prism Inserts Barry Sanders, card number 7. This was a PSA 9 that received 16 bids, and it sold for just short of $50. Up next at number 49 is this 1992 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr., card number 424. This was a PSA 10 that received 19 bids, and it sold for $60 even. Coming in at number 48 is this 1993 Topps Micro Derek Jeter rookie, card number 98. This was a PSA 9 that received 21 bids, and it sold for $62.40. We're back to football at number 47 with this 1990 Alan Kay's Football Card News Bo Jackson, card number 6. This was a PSA 10 that received 12 bids, and it sold for $69.60. And we get our first basketball card at number 46 with this 1987 Fleer Terry Kallage, card number 18. This was a PSA 9 that received 17 bids, and it sold for $69.60. Coming in at number 45 is this 1988 Topps Mark McGwire, card number 580. This was a PSA 10 that received 14 bids, and it also sold for just short of $70. Up next is this 1990 Pro Set Rookie of the Year Barry Sanders, card number 1. This was a PSA 7, and it sold for $22.80. Up next at number 44 is this 1994 Classic Tampa Yankees Mariano Rivera, card number 20. This was a BGS 9.5 that received 17 bids, and it sold for $74.40. Coming in at number 43 is this 1990 Fleer All-Stars Magic Johnson, card number 4. This was a PSA 10 that received 11 bids, and it sold for $76.80. And we're back to football at number 42 with this 1988 Topps Bo Jackson rookie, card number 327. This football rookie was in a PSA 9 that received 16 bids, and it sold for just short of $80. Coming in at number 41 is this 1990 Bowman Bernie Williams rookie, card number 439. This was a CGC 10 that received 25 bids, and it sold for $81.60. The Big Hurt makes his first appearance on today's list to kick off the top 40 with this 1994 Topps Black Gold Frank Thomas, card number 21. This was a PSA 10 that received 20 bids, and it sold for $84 even. Primetime's up next at number 39 with this 1992 Ultra All-Stars Deion Sanders, card number 17. This was a PSA 10 that received 20 bids, and it also sold for $84 even. And we're back to basketball at number 38 with this 1991 Fleer Charles Barkley Pro Visions, card number 3. This was a PSA 10 that received 18 bids, and it sold for $86.40. And we're sticking to basketball with this 1988 Fleer Scottie Pippen rookie, card number 20. This rookie was in a PSA 7, and it sold for $27.60. Coming in at number 37 is this 1994 Skybox Emotion Intense Shaquille O'Neal, card number 7. This was a PSA 9 that received 20 bids, and it sold for $86.40. The mailman's up next with this 1988 Fleer Karl Malone, card number 114. This was a PSA 10 that received 15 bids, and it sold for $93.60. Coming in at number 35 is this 1989 Donruss Bo Jackson, card number 208. This was a PSA 10 that received 13 bids, and it sold for $98.40. Up next at number 34 is this 1991 Upper Deck Chris Jackson Rookie Standouts, card number R17. This PSA 10 received 16 bids, and it also sold for just short of $100. Coming in at number 33 is this 1992 Legends Sports Memorabilia Bo Jackson, card number C3. This was a PSA 10 that received 20 bids, and it sold for $105.60. And Jeter's back at number 32 with this 1994 Signature Rookies Melon Promo Derek Jeter. Serial numbered out of 3,000, this was a PSA 10 that received 18 bids, and it sold for $108. Shaq's back at number 31 with this 1992 Stadium Club Shaquille O'Neal rookie, card number 201. This rookie was in a PSA 10 that received 17 bids, and it sold for $115.20. Up next is this 1993 Topps Reggie White, card number 40. This was a PSA 10, and it sold for $27.60. And we're back to basketball to kick off the top 30 with this 1993 Finest Chris Mullin, card number 122. This was a PSA 10 that received 23 bids, and it sold for $126. Up next at number 29 is this 1994 Skybox Emotion Shaquille O'Neal, card number 70. This was a PSA 10 that received 23 bids, and it sold for $126. Take that, back-to-back appearances for Shaq at number 28 with this 1992 Topps Gold Shaquille O'Neal rookie, card number 362. This gold parallel was in a PSA 9 that received 9 bids, and it also sold for $126. We get one of our weekly regulars at number 27 with this 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie, card number 1. This star rookie was in a PSA 8 that received 16 bids, and it sold for $150. Coming in at number 26 is this 1988 Fleer Dennis Rodman rookie, card number 43. This was a PSA 9 that received 9 bids, and it also sold for $150. Back to football, I ran across this 1989 Score Supplemental Bo Jackson, card number 384S. This card that was ungraded but authenticated by CGC sold for $28.80. Coming in at number 25 is this 1992 Fleer Nolan Ryan, card number 710. This was a PSA 10 that received 19 bids, and it sold for $156. Up next at number 24 is this 1993 Ultra Scoring Kings Joe Dumars, card number 2. This insert was in a PSA 9 that received 15 bids, and it also sold for $156. Make that back-to-back newcomers to the list at number 23 with this 1993 Ultra Patrick Ewing Scoring Kings, card number 3. This was a PSA 9 that received 18 bids, and it sold for $162. Up next at number 22 is this 1992 Stadium Club Shaquille O'Neal rookie, card number 247. This was a PSA 10 that received 15 bids, and it sold for $180. Make that back-to-back appearances at number 21 with this 1992 Upper Deck Shaquille O'Neal rookie, card number 1. This was an SGC 9.5 that received 33 bids, and it sold for $192. Up next is this 1991 Skybox Larry Bird and Robert Parrish, card number 460. This was a PSA 10, and it sold for $30 even. Back to Junk Wax era football, I ran across this 1990 Kenner starting lineup Bo Jackson, card number 23B. This was a BGS 9, and it sold for $32.40. And we're sticking to football to kick off the top 20 with this 1989 Topps Traded Barry Sanders rookie, card number 83T. This was a PSA 10 that received 14 bids, and it sold for $198. Up next at number 19 is this 1991 Fleer Jerry Rice, card number 363. This was a PSA 10 that received 26 bids, and it sold for just over $200. Coming in at number 18 is this 1989 Mother's Cookies Ken Griffey Jr., card number 4. This was a PSA 10 that received 9 bids, and it sold for $210. And we're back to basketball at number 17 with this 1994 Flair Playmakers Penny Hardaway, card number 4. This second year insert was in a PSA 10 that received 25 bids, and it sold for $222. Make that back-to-back newcomers to the list at number 16 with this 1989 Sports Illustrated for Kids Eric Dickerson, card number 86. This was a PSA 10 that received 13 bids, and it sold for $228. Up next is this 1990 Skybox Dennis Rodman card number 91. This was a PSA 10 and it sold for $45.60. And we welcome another newcomer to the list at number 15 with this 1989 Sports Illustrated for Kids Ozzie Smith, card number 43. This was a PSA 10 that received 15 bids, and it sold for $228. We're back to football at number 14 with this 1994 SP Marshall Faulk rookie, card number 3. This foil rookie was in a PSA 10 that received 15 bids, and it sold for $234. The Big Hurt's back at number 13 with this 1991 Stadium Club Frank Thomas, card number 57. This was a PSA 10 that received 32 bids, and it also sold for $234. Up next at number 12 is this 1993 Ultra David Robinson Scoring Kings, card number 9. This insert was in a PSA 9 that received 19 bids, and it sold for $252. Coming in at number 11 is this 1993 Finest Roger Clemens All-Star Refractor, card number 104. This refractor that was ungraded but authenticated by CGC received 19 bids, and it sold for $264. Up next is this 1990 Kenner starting lineup blue Dan Marino. This was a PSA 9 and it sold for $34.80. And for a basketball player that missed the top 50, we get this 1990 Supersonics Gary Payton card number 12. This was a PSA 10 and it sold for $46.80. And we welcome a newcomer to the list to kick off the top 10 with this 1989 Sports Illustrated for Kids Mike Schmidt, card number 90. This was a PSA 10 that received 16 bids, and it sold for $264. Up next at number 9 is this 1992 Ultra All-Stars Ken Griffey Jr., card number 6. This was a PSA 10 that received 28 bids, and it also sold for $264. Coming in at number 8 is this 1989 Sports Illustrated for Kids Patrick Ewing, card number 77. This was a PSA 10 that received 21 bids, and it sold for $300 even. Up next at number 7 is this 1989 Hoops David Robinson rookie, card number 138. This was a PSA 10 that received 17 bids, and it sold for $444. Coming in at number 6 is this 1987 Topps Barry Bonds, card number 320. This was a PSA 10 that received 29 bids, and it sold for $588. And for our 10th and final bonus card, I ran across this 1992 Stadium Club Dominique Wilkins Members Only Beam Team, card number 2. This was a PSA 8, and it sold for $48 even. And kicking off the top 5 of today's list is this 1990 Sports Illustrated for Kids Bo Jackson, card number 198. This was a PSA 10 that received 17 bids, and it sold for $660. Up next at number 4 is this 1993 SP All-Pros Barry Sanders, card number AP5. This was a PSA 10 that received 27 bids, and it sold for $720. Coming in at number 3 is this 1987 Fleer Glossy Barry Bonds, card number 604. This was a PSA 10 that received 25 bids, and it sold for $780. And we welcome a newcomer to the list at number 2 with this 1989 Fleer Bill Ripken FF Air Rookie, card number 616. This was a PSA 10 that received 29 bids, and it sold for $960. And topping off today's list at number 1 is this 1989 Score Barry Sanders Rookie, card number 257. This was a PSA 10 that received 56 bids, and it sold for $1,830. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.